It's Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg. Just Laura and Rosenberg today, but we have the... listen, I'm not going to bother legending you up, Spike. We've done this enough. An American treasure, one of the greatest American filmmakers who ever lived, Spike Lee, highest to lowest. Yeah, come on, man.
You woke up with the good... You woke up... I don't know what happened, but something happened this morning. Thank you very much.
I woke up with truth on my mind. Highest to lowest is out, of course, starring Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, A$AP Rocky. Spike, I know this was brought to you. The idea of this film was brought to you during the pandemic, or at least that's what I read.
No. This Denzel brought it to me, and this is way after the pandemic.
Post-pandemic,
this was brought to you. Okay.
Yeah, he called me up and said, Spike, I mean, the script had been going around for years. It ended up in Denzel's hand, and he read it. He called me up and said, Spike, I'm sending you something, you know. I said, what is it? He says, just, I'm sending it to you to read it. And so before I even hung up the phone, I knew I was doing it. And it was this script was very good script. I knew Denzel had to do what we had to do, but I did not know that Inside Man was like 18, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Denzel didn't know that either. For us, it was like, you know, it was just yesterday. I read the script. You know, Denzel since gone to say that, you know, this is New York, and he just automatically saw me as a New York director, and he could do justice to the script. Also justice to the great city, the greatest city in the world too, because this film, this is a New York film. Also, a great edition of the New York films that Scorsese has done, Mean Street. Then you look at the Great City Lament with Network and Dog Day Afternoon with our guy Pacino. So it was a gift.
Is there now so Denzel's already attached to it when he brings it to you. In all seriousness, how much consideration do you have to do? Or at the point where Denzel says, hey, it's 2024, Spike, we got to get back together. Are you already back in?
He didn't say that. He just said, I'm sending you a script. That was it. And before I hung up, as I said before I hung up the phone, I said, I'm in. The dynamic Neo got back together.
So fire.
Batman and Robin. You know, I'm Robin.
Now, Spike, so having these conversations with Denzel, did you know when you read the script, did you know, you're like, A$AP Rocky would be perfect for this?
No.
So how did that come together?
That came later.
Okay.
The first read through, I'm just looking for the story, looking how Denzel's character was going to be the steel, the groundwork. And then later on in readings, then I began to think about who's playing who. And I like to say that A$AP Rocky, man, I told him, you know, after all these hoopla with the premieres and stuff, I gave him a big hug and I whispered in his ear, you cannot play a rapper your next film. You cannot put yourself in that box. But he's great talent. And I've seen firsthand actors who've crumbled when they go against Denzel Washington in the scene. But Rocky's from Uptown Harlem.
That's right.
So he knew he had to represent, and he did.
You, to us, Spike, in a lot of ways, you know, your presence in New York is ubiquitous, and so in a lot of ways you feel like ageless. But when I look,
I'm getting old.
But when I look,
Denzel, one of our knees is wearing out.
well, that's what I was going to say. So when I look at the fact that Mo Better Blues is 1990, right? Denzel Washington was 35 years old, right? Thinking about Denzel now, all these years later, it's almost like, Spike, when you see how old Denzel has gotten, does that make you realize where the time has gone? Because we picture Denzel as a certain version of him, and he is now aging into a different bracket. And I got to say, just as a fan, it's almost like, wow, just seeing it.
Well, time is relative, and like I said, I did not know till journalists told me that that Inside Man,
2006.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I don't think Denzel knew that either until journalists pointed it out. And so, what's beautiful is that even though we had that long break, there was no process of Denzel and I learning how to work together. It was like the first day is like it was the last day of Inside Man. So we've been very fortunate to keep this thing going. Start like you said, start with Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X. He got game Inside Man, and we've been blessed to do the fifth film together. Cinco.
Let's take Malcolm X off the list because I feel like that sits at number one with a bullet for a lot of reasons. You don't have to, but that's how I feel. What would you say?
No, it's all love, man. We go way back, baby. Don't even worry about it.
So what's the next one? Because I'm taking Malcolm X was in its own category, historically so important.
What do you mean ranking them?
What's the next one in your heart of the Denzel movies?
Very good question, which I expect from you. We go way back. The answer is, if I'm blessed, number 6.
That's the one? Whatever the next one is.
I was reading Denzel's interviews saying that, that he's almost done, I was
going to ask you about that.
In front of that. And so, if he's saying, I don't know if I'm able to get another one. And so then lately he's been talking about, well, I'm going to do some more. I mean, I threw his out to the pastor. And he's doing more films. So I've stopped saying that this film will be the last one, and hopefully, God willing, it won't be. So I'm looking forward to number 6.
Oh,
and also not to evade your question, which I respect. I just don't. For me, this is just me talking. I'm past. The whole ranking stuff. That's for other people.
Yeah.
They could do that. The same way, I'm gonna talk about sports.
Of course.
But I'm so tired of this GOAT stuff.
LeBron and Jordan, it's a lot.
Michael don't give a what about that. And why can't we as sports fans, I mean, maybe that's part of sports, so you compare, but why can't we just enjoy the brilliance of these athletes without always, for me, it's just pointless. I know sports radio lives in that stuff.
I know, but it's silly. It's the thief of joy.
Me, I know we're going to do it, but for me, in a lot of ways, I'm a hypocrite because I've been saying many times on this, this press tour that I feel that Denzel Washington is the greatest living actor. But here's the thing, though. If you ask Martin Scorsese, he's going to ask De Niro. I mean, me and Marty and Bob, we know. Bob invited me to his birthday party. I mean, we just grew up. And then, if Sid Lumet was alive, he would say Al Pacino. France would say Brando. So I think that, for me, there's a different, I don't know what the word is, but where art is different than athletics, for me.
How about this? You have developed, I mean, me seeing Do the Right Thing in 1989.
How old were you then?
10.
Oh! You snuck in?
No, by the way, Spike, this is very telling of my family. My parents took me to the theater to see Do the Right Thing in Wheaton, Maryland.
Did they put their hands over your eyes at some
during the Ice Cube scene?
Hey! Rosie, I love you, Rosie.
No, believe me, I took notice of that scene. But that was a transformative film experience for a million reasons. And since then, as the years have gone on, you just continue to get, I believe, better. And as amazing as that is, you keep getting better, more nuanced. Is there anything you look back at the early run She's got to have it school days up through Do the Right Thing. Is there anything you look back on now as this wise, experienced filmmaker and go, why the hell did I do that?
I think that's something that we all have, whether you're in arts, sports, or just your regular life, where youth, you don't grow up old. And by experience, you hopefully you gain more knowledge and wisdom. You just don't show up, and you're the man or the woman, whatever, like, I'm here. You don't come out of the womb. Let me ask another question. Does anybody come out of the womb fully developed?
No.
Of course not. No.
Same thing. You, number one, you got to know that you'll know everything. The people, whether it's sports or whatever, arts, if you think you know everything, that's not going to be good further down the line.
But don't you find that the young ones who turn out to be great, part of what allows them to find that is that they stupidly think they are great before they are? You think, I thought I was Howard Stern at 27. I go back and hear it, and I was garbage.
But I don't know if that's necessarily, what I think, but I hear what you're saying. Because I do think that on the other hand, there are people, who are humble and say, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to lick my wounds, pick myself off the canvas, and get up there, and go against it. It really becomes, for me, about mentality. Also, and another thing that really gets overlooked, your parents. Parents get overlooked for the harm they could do or the great they could do. Where in parents being children don't know nothing. So, especially in the arts, it's when the parents introduced. My mother was dragging me to movies. My father hated Hollywood films, but I'm the oldest, so I was mother's date. My father loved sports. He was taking me to games. So I think you can't overestimate the good and the bad parents have on the upbringing of their children. And I thank God, my parents introduced me to music, sports, movies.
Brother, your dad played on crazy records. What are some of the records your dad played on that people might not realize?
Bob Dylan is All Over Now, Baby Blue. That's my father. There's only Bob on guitar and harmonica. My father on bass. My father's on the first Gordon Lightfoot album, his album, the first Simon Garfunkel album. My father was the top.
God, I forgot about
My
that.
father was the top folk bassist, even though he was a jazz musician. And when Bob Dylan went electric, my father didn't do it. So up to that point, my mother was shopping at Lord and Taylor and Bloomingdale's every weekend. And then when my father refused, because his ethics, he refused to play electric bass, my mother had to work. She started teaching at St. Anne's in Brooklyn Heights. Not only was she working, but it was five. I'm the oldest of five. And she would come home, mark papers, cook, clean. And for a while, as a young, I saw the hardships my mom was going through, supporting the whole family. If you saw Crooklyn, that's our autobiographical film growing up in
The best.
in the early 70s. But later understood he just had scruples. He had ethics. He was not going to play an electric bass. He was not going to play Fender bass. And my mother loved and supported him, and she supported the family. And later on, my father did the scores for my films, the Emory Graduate Film School, and then She's Gonna Have It School Days, Do Right Thing, and Mo Better Blues. So it worked out. But he was the man. He was on Judy Collins. All those great folk artists. My father was the guy on bass.
Yeah, Laura, he
didn't know
played
this.
on He played on Wednesday morning, 3 a.m., the Simon and Garfunkel album with Sounds
Their
of
first
Silence
album.
on it. The first one.
So cool.
I mean,
Numero uno.
do you and Paul have a relationship?
Not really, but he's for years he's had season tickets buying home plate at Junkie Stadium, and so a couple of times, I would sneak down. They would let me through to talk to him, between, and stuff like that. But he's always been cool. So I got nothing but love for Paul Simon. Great artist.
This movie is a change of pace, it looks like, for Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright's my guy, fellow Washington Commanders fan. That's my dude. But yeah, he stepped into a different space. What can you tell us about the performance of the great thespian Jeffrey Wright in this film?
Well, he's one of the greatest actors working today, but also someone that I don't think it's the acclaim he should get. And him and Denzel worked together on Manchurian Candidate. That was the last time. And so just to have these two guys to work with, and also Jeffrey's son played his son in the film too. So for me, there's a heartbreaking scene in this film. I don't care if it's a spoiler, where Jeffrey's character is asking Denzel's character. They grew up together in Harlem, in the Bronx, and Denzel's character has hired him after he's come out of the joint. He went upstate for several years, and he's begging him, practically on his knees, to pay the ransom. And it's just, when you have two heavyweights like that, you just shut the F up and just let them do their thing. And that's a gift. I don't take that for granted. I really don't.
Now,
No, and watching the trailer and watching like little bits and pieces on social media, there is a scene. There's a really cool scene in Highest to Lowest where there's like a subway chase, and it occurs at the same time as a Puerto Rican Day Parade party.
Also, it's a Sunday afternoon, and the scene starts with the number 4 train packed with Yankee fans.
Got it.
Going to Yankee Stadium. So all these things happening at the same time. And also, at this moment, I got to thank the late, great Eddie Palmieri, who's blessed with his great performance. Eddie Palmieri's South Orchestra, which is the glue that holds this whole scene together. And Eddie left us like 3 days before the premiere at the Academy of Music. And so he's a big loss. But it was a here's the thing though. That was not done to playback. That was live. And we had like this 7-8 takes, and Eddie wanted more. And the extras like, yo, we want to go home.
we got it.
But the man is 80s, so I don't want to wear him out. But that was a joyous day, and it's also funny because in the scene is the subway is packed, and the Yankee fans are chanting, Boston sucks.
Of course, you got to get the full experience.
Yeah, it was.
There's always been a lot of chatter about Denzel's performance in Training Day, which scored him the Best Actor Oscar. Even Jadakiss said the line, "Why Denzel have to be crooked before he took it?" That's always had some controversy around it. Spike, I always just loved his performance as Alonzo in that movie. It wasn't a perfect film, but he was perfect in that film.
That's not the only one.
Exactly. And that's not, exactly. We've had the Halle Berry conversation as well. What did you think of Denzel's performance in Training Day and him getting the award for that film?
He's an amazing actor. Now, here's the thing, though. Now, we're big sports fans, let's be honest. And especially in basketball where a ref makes a bad call.
I know where you're
And then
going.
they have the makeup call. Now look, I love Al Pacino, one of the greatest actors ever from the South Bronx. Pacino got jerked. Somebody do the research. Look at the times he was nominated and did not win. Now Denzel just won. Glory. It's funny because Glory and Do the Right Thing were the same year.
Yeah.
So I went to see Glory. I mean, I love Denzel. And then that scene where he got whipped and that one tie comes down, then the one tear comes down.
Yeah.
And also Daniela was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Do the Right Thing. When I saw that's performance, we was getting whipped, I knew Dan was not going to win. So Al Pacino's been messed over, and he wins. Now that was for
Scent of a Woman,
yes,
which
that
is a
was
good
saying-
movie, but it's not the other one. It's not the other ones.
All love.
Right.
But in my opinion, Denzel Washington as Malcolm X. Let me turn my head the other way. Okay, come back this way.
But isn't it crazy?
It's
when you
all
think-
love. And so now Denzel, all right, you're young. We missed over Pacino. Training day, so it works out. But and here's the thing: Denzel's talked about this. Like he, keep on moving, and he knows that this a lot of times this voting could be political, and there's such a thing as a makeup call. But that's not what I mean. Denzel's talked about this really on this, doing tours for doing the press for this film. He said that that's not why. That's not the purpose, We got to put the work in, and then all you can do is put the work in. There's things out of your control, and people are gonna vote the way you vote. But he's not doing that. He's not hamming it up to win an Oscar. That's not in his DNA. It's not in it.
It's interesting too because you can look at
Now,
it.
don't bring up Drive Miss Daisy.
or the Green Book that happened just recently.
Yeah, it's funny because the thing happens like, man, every time somebody's driving somebody, I'm gonna lose.
Yo, did the Green Book beat what was Black Klansman?
See, yes.
But the Pacino call in '93 was probably a makeup call on Pacino for Dog Day Afternoon, Godfather 2, and then
as I said before, right. I mean, I said this before, really laying down the base at Pacino. I started by bringing up the makeup call.
Yeah, it's
the makeup.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. The makeup call.
Yeah, but look, I got number love of my brother Al Pacino. And we was doing a TV show that they're shooting in Steiner, studio here by the Navy Yard, and I had 3 lobby cards from Godfather 2, and he signed them for me, and also a Dog Afternoon poster. And when I really knocked on his trailer, went in there, I just gave him a big hug and told him, look, man, I got nothing love for you, man. So don't no. I'm with you from New York. Love, you're a great actor. And because I never wanted him to think that I was getting on him because of what happened with the Oscar thing, that wasn't him, and so number love me and Al,
So Spike, so they're telling us we got to wrap up. So I found out officially one of the great joys of my life to come to Fort Greene, see your building, see all your memorabilia, and then I sat with you for an hour and we talked about Colin Kaepernick. It is not happening. So
here's the thing, though. That is not really was news, but it can't be news till somebody says something. So that happened a year ago.
But it just got out now.
No one ever asked me till the other day
Right,
what was happening to it. And so it's not like something just happened overnight. That happened a year ago.
Well, it's a bummer because you were certainly the perfect person to tell the story.
Well, look, it's unfortunate, and but to tell you the truth, I think all of us have moved on because the whole thing, fell apart a year ago. So
right. Listen, I just want to make sure it wasn't my interview.
I got to keep it moving,
I just want to make sure my interview wasn't so bad that I deep sixed the project.
Nah. You were great, and you gave a great, important perspective to it. So maybe one day that we're all gone,
you never
unwrap.
The movie Highest to Lowest in theaters. Spike Lee, Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, A$AP Rocky, an appearance by Ice Spice. It's all in there. Spike, thank you for making time, man. We love you. You're an icon.
All right. Knicks.